Okay, I'm sure that the microphone's picking up a weird noise now. On the other side of this wall is the laundry room. My wife just started the dryer. Hey, that's life. The next weapon that we're going to cover here is probably, I'm going to say, the most common in America. And it can be turned into a very competent sirens of stop, survival, whatever type weapon. It's one of the more generic, all-around good weapons that you can have, period. We won't get into brands or things like that here because that doesn't really matter, but what we're talking about here is obviously the 12 gauge pump shotgun. This is the one that I keep by the door of my house. As far as stopping power, it don't get much better than this. And you have the availability. When I say all around, you have the availability to carry different kinds of rounds. You can carry rounds for birds, you can carry rounds for large game, you can carry rounds to stop people, you can carry, there's just all kinds of different rounds that all fire through the same system. So that makes it a very universal weapon. Upsides. One of the scariest sounds on the face of the earth to a bad guy is a shell being racked into a 12 gauge. It makes people's blood freeze. It's like hearing a rattlesnake. When they hear that, they know something serious is getting ready to happen. You can fire it fairly quickly. You can reload it fairly quickly with practice. And I may actually do a video on rapid reloading and single reloading of a shotgun. I don't know yet. And the reason I say I don't know yet is because most people are not going to take the time to go and buy practice rounds, and I don't want somebody doing what I'm doing with live rounds and then shooting somebody or shooting a hole in their house or something. So I may not do that. I may do a link to a video, to another video about that. Downsides of a shotgun: range. There's just not a lot of range to a shotgun. You really want to be, depending on the shells you're shooting, you really want to be within 50 yards. That's just a legitimate number. Yes, there are some that will shoot farther. There are some that won't do anything that far out. Size and weight of ammo. It's heavy and it's big. Capacity. They do not have a great capacity. Even if you put an extender onto it, you're only going to gain another round or two or three, depending on the extender you put on it. Unlimited options for stocks, unlimited things you can do to it to rig it out. This one that's right here is actually also the one that is my son's preferred weapon system. He likes the 12 gauge as his primary. Now, when you get into 12 gauge, when you get into shotguns, maybe I should touch on this real quick. My wife's primary weapon is a 410 shotgun. She had a broken shoulder and a dislocated shoulder. She just cannot take the kick from a 12 gauge. And please, we've already tried all the different pads and different things on the back. Her shoulder just can't take it. She likes her 410, and that's what she has. So when I say the 12 gauge is obviously my preferred and my son's preferred. But if you're talking a 410, a 20, a 12, whatever, they're fairly, I'm not going to say they're fairly even, because there's a drastic difference between a 410 and a 12, but you can get rounds for a 410 that make it a good weapon. Anyway, carrying weapons or carrying ammo. When I talked about the 22 and the 9mm, I was talking about small magazines that you can just carry, stick them in your pocket. Obviously on the 9mm on my chest rig, I have slots that are made for those magazines. I also have the ones that go on the duty belt. 22, you're just going to drop them loose, or you're just going to slide the mags in your pocket, or the clips in your pocket, or wherever you're going to put them. With a 12 gauge, you need to start thinking about how you're going to carry the ammo. A lot of people will put a holder on the butt stock. Some people will add another one that goes up here. I do not have those on here, and I don't know that I'll ever put them on there. Nothing wrong with them. It's just not what I do. What I do instead is I have a vest And it obviously has rounds on both sides, and it has pockets where I could put more if I wanted to. But when this vest is loaded out, this is not my, let me start this off. This was the siren stop system right here. This vest and this gun, along with the 9mm it's still sitting over there, but the 9mm that's over there. This was my original when the siren stop system. And what you're going to find out as this goes along here is that my system changed as I could afford to get the better things. And I tried out some things and some different things along the way. But I decide what weapon I want to get, and then I want to try. I get that weapon. I work with that weapon until I'm confident with that weapon, and then I build whatever system needs to go with that particular weapon. I won't use this vest for any of the other weapon systems. I'm not going to try to convert it. I'm not going to try to do anything like that. This is for this. When this vest was loaded out, it had all the stuff in it that is in my chest rig now. It has a ton of pockets around it, including a big one on the back. And no, it's not a game vest. It is a shooting vest. And I could carry everything in here that I carry on my current chest rig now, or other rigs, first aid kit. All that stuff went in here. Now, shotgun is your, when the sirens stop, weapon system. Nothing in the world wrong with that. Matter of fact, from this point forward, I don't think you're going to get any arguments from anybody about this one or the next three. You may actually only get two more, because my son actually has borrowed one of mine, but I will talk about it. Nothing wrong with this. You can get this system set up. You can buy a shotgun, a 12 gauge shotgun for, I've seen them as low as $120 used. You need to check them out. I've seen them as low as $120, and of course the sky's the limit on shotguns. Not an expensive weapon to buy. The vest, I think I ordered it from, it may have come from Cabela's. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. I've had it for so long. I'm not sure where this vest came from. It may have even come from a local hunting store. I promise you it was not expensive. It was under 30 bucks. Note, if you're going to buy a shotgun vest, this is just something I learned from experience. Do not buy a shotgun vest that has elastic loops right here where these shells are at, especially if you're going to store shells in it. The elastic loosens up. This one is actually nylon, just like on gun belts and everything else. These are nylon loops. It is a tight fit. You can see that I have to work to get that. And when I say work, I mean when I'm reloading, I can just pop them out. But to get them in is sometimes a bit of a chore, because it is a tight fit. That is important. The last thing in the world you want to be doing is moving through a suburban area and start noticing that your shells are rattling, your shells are starting to fall, that you're having to readjust them. You don't even want to mess with that. So a Darby note here: make sure it's nylon loops made for the size round that you get. I do remember that wherever I got this from, they had these vests, and I think they had them in 20, 12, and 410. And the reason for the difference was the size of the loops. So if this is what you determine that you want to use as your primary weapon, nothing in the world wrong with it. You can get it at any price range you want. Get you a vest, and there are some better options than a vest. There are chest rigs now for shotguns. And I looked at them recently. It's just more than I'm willing to pay for something that is no longer my primary. If this was still my primary weapon system, I would have already upped to the shotgun chest rig that has the fancy things that flip out with the next set of shells in it and all that. I would have already switched to that. I'm not going to do that because this is no longer my primary. This has now been relegated down to a home defense weapon. And of course, for that purpose, please, does it get any better than this? Let me get set up for the next weapon, and here we're the next two that I'm going to show you And the one that I'm going to talk about, that, like I said, I just dawned on me, my son has it. We're getting into actual military made arms.